Jasnayaka, and in this video, I'll be walking you through my contribution to our machine learning group assignment. The dataset was chosen is a crop recommendation dataset sourced from Kaggle, a well-known credible platform. We choose this dataset because it's complex enough to demonstrate multi-class classification. It has 22 different crop types as target classes and it's publicly hosted in a citable to meeting assignment requirements. The dataset contains 2,200 rows and 8 columns. The 7 input features are NPK as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium content in the soil, temperature and humidity, environment condition, pH, the acidity level of the soil, rainfall in millimeters. The target variable is the crop label, what crop is more suitable given those conditions. This is a supervised multi-class classification problem with 22 possible crop categories like rice, maize, mango, cotton, and others. Um, for pre-processing, we first selected 7 relevant feature columns and isolate the target label. We then applied label encoding to convert the crop names into integer values, which is required for the sklearning classifier. We also uh, performed an 80-20 stratified train test split, ensuring every crop class is proportionally represented in both training and test sets. The stratification was key here because with 22 classes, a random split would leave some classes unrepresented in testing. The algorithm I implemented is the decision tree classifier. A decision tree works by recursively splitting data based on feature threshold and best separate the classes using either Gini impurity or entropy as the splitting criterion. The tree continues branching until it reaches the stop condition like maximum depth or minimum sample per leaf. I chose the decision tree because it's inherently interpretable. You can literally visualize every decision the model makes, making it ideal for this agricultural context, where a farmer or agronomist would want to understand why a particular crop was recommended. It was handled multi-class problem natively without any modification. I first trained the default decision tree as a baseline, then used grid search CV with fivefold cross-validation to tune hyperparameters, including max depth, mean sample split, mean sample leaf, and the splitting criterion. After tuning, the decision tree achieves strong performance. The key metrics on the test were as below. Accuracy was high, above 97%. Weighted precision recall and F1 score was also consistent, indicating no class imbalance. Tenfold across validation gave stable mean accuracy with low under standard deviation. The computer matrix showed nearly all 22 crops being classified correctly with very minimal misclassification. For improvements, a few approaches could push accuracy further. First, feature engineering, as adding interaction terms like N to P ratio could help. Second, the decision tree can overfit on noisy data, so combining it with ensemble method like random forest would address that. Third, expanding the dataset with more regional or seasonal data would make the model more generalizable to real-world agriculture conditions. Thank you.
I'm Nandini. For this project, I worked on implementing the K nearest neighbors algorithm for crop recommendation system. So I will explain what KNN is, why I chose it, how I implemented it, and the results I achieved. KNN is a simple but powerful algorithm. Instead of learning a model during training, it actually stores all the training data and makes prediction based on the closest data points. So basically, when a new data points come in, it looks at the k most similar examples and chooses the most common crop among them. I choose KNN mainly because it works really well with this kind of dataset. All the features like nitrogen, rainfall, temperature are numerical, which makes distance-based method effective. One important thing I had to handle was feature scaling. Um, since Kn depend on distance, features with large values like rainfall can dominate the results. So I used standard scaler um, to normalize all features and make sure each one contributes equally. Now looking at the implementation part, first I loaded the dataset and convert crop labels into numerical values using label encoder. Then I applied feature scaling and split data into training and testing set using an 80-20 ratio while keeping the class distribution balanced. Next, I worked on selecting the best value for the K. I tested multiple values from 1 to 30 and observe how accuracy changes. Initially, case equal 1 give the high accuracy, but that can lead to overfit. So I move forward with the grid search CV to find the more reliable solution. I tested different combination of number of neighbors, distance metrics like Euclidean and Manhattan, and weighting methods. After tuning the best model used k equal 5 distance-based weighting and Manhattan distance, which gave the best performance. Now coming to the results, on the test dataset, the model achieved accuracy about 98.18%, which is quite high. Other evaluation metrics like precision, recall, F1 score, uh, also around 98% showing the balanced performance. I also calculate ROC AUC score, which was really close to the 1, indicating excellent classification capability. To ensure the model stable, I used a 10-fold cross-validation. The average accuracy was around 98%, which is low variation, which means the model performs consistently. Looking at the confusion matrix, the most crops were predicted correctly. There were only few small misclassification between the crops with small, very similar condition, which is accepted. I also analyzed the learning curve to understand how the model behave with the more data. The graph shows the both training and validation accuracy gradually improve and then stabilize. This indicates that the model is neither overfit or underfit. It generalizes well. However, one limitation of KNN is that it can be slow during prediction because it had to compare new inputs with our training data. But since our dataset is relatively small, it wasn't a problem in this case. To summarize my contribution, I implement KN algorithm, handle feature scaling, tune hyperparameters, and evaluate model using multiple metrics like accuracy, precision, uh, recall, F1 score, and cross-validation. Overall, my KN performance very well, achieve around 98% accuracy, make it strongly model for this task.
So hey everyone, welcome back in this video. We are going to work through algorithm for of our crop recommendation series, the support vector machines or SVM. This is the powerful classification algorithm and we are applying it to real agriculture data sets to predict which crop to grow based on soil and weather conditions. Let's dive in. So we are starting importing the all libraries we need. NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and most importantly, SVC is the support vector classifier. Then we load the crop recommendation dataset from Kaggle. It has the 7 input features: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, temperature, and humidity, pH, and rainfall. And the target is the crop label with 24 different crop classes. Here's something really important about SVM. It's the very sensitive to the scale features. If one feature has values in the thousands and another is between 0 and 1, SVM will perform poorly. So we use the standard scaler to normalize all features have mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1. This step is non-negotiable for SVM. So we also use the label encoder to convert crop names into numbers and split the data 80% and for training 20%. Testing using satisfied split keep class balance. So now the fun part is the SVM works by finding the best boundary between classes, and it use something called kernel to do this. So we test all four kernels: linear, polynomial, RBF, and sigmoid. The bar chart shows their accuracy. Clearly, the RBF kernel, which standard for radial basis functions performs the best, is the most popular kernel and work great for nonlinear data like ours. So good accuracy isn't enough. We want to best accuracy. So we use the grid search CV to find the optimal combinations of C. C means the regularization parameter. So gamma means the control how far the influence of single training point reach. So kernel, we test the RBF and linear. So grid search run five-fold cross-validation for every combinations and picks the winner automatically. We also visualize the how the C parameters affects the both training and test accuracy. And too low means underfitting, too high means overfitting. So with the best model selected, that we evaluate it properly. Our metrics include the accuracy, overall correct predictions, and precisions and recalls per class performance. F1 is called the harmonic means the presence and recall. Uh, Harmonic means the presence and recall. So rock oak means how tell the model distinction between all 22 classes. We also run 10-fold cross validations, make sure results are consistent and now just lucky on test split. So confusion matrix heat map gives the beautiful visuals of where the model gets it right to and where it occasionally confuses similar crops. So finally, lean-in curve shows the how performance improves as we feed more training data. A conversion curve means the model is generalized well. So and that's it. We train the an SVM, compared kernels and tune hyperparameters and fully evaluate our model, the metrics and save the CSV files. We can compare the SVM against addition tree, random forest, and KNN. Finally, this is our assignments and the final comparison notebook. So if you found this helpful, give the thumbs and subscribe.